What up everyone, it's your man XMan87 here, bringing you another Storm Collectibles video, and what I have for you today is the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat Liu Kang action figure review. Before we get into everything, if you could please leave a thumbs up, like rating on the video, it'll help show your support for my channel and I greatly appreciate it. Now with that said, let's go! As we take a close look at the head sculpt for Liu Kang, I think this is a fantastic head sculpt and a great representation of the character. Now, I don't think they were able to get the licensing approval for the likeness of Eddie Wong, who was the actor for Liu Kang in MK3. But it's hard to go off those references as that source is all pixelated and grainy. So, you know, Storm Collectibles likes to put their own spin on things, and it's passable because it looks like the character. I like the bandana. I like the hair sculpt too. It's nice and stringy on the back. This part of the bandana is nice and pliable. It's soft. I like the way the bangs go over the bandana here. At first, he looks cross-eyed when looking at him straight on, but I promise you he's not. It's just the shadows casted. Because if I point them on this angle right here, you can see the iris is aligned on the pupils. They capture the skin tone on the lips perfectly too. Overall, this is such a dope-ass head sculpt. All new body sculpt here. He's ripped and lean as he should be. And in case you didn't know, the biggest two inspirations for the design of Liu Kang's character came from Bruce Lee and Minamoto Ushitsune. Nice muscular sculpture on his chest. His abs are ripped up. His arms are ripped as well. Nice muscle tones on his back. I do like his forearm bands right here. You can see nice silver paint applied to them, as well as some straps inside there too. And that looks really cool with some buckles. His fists look good. The pants look nice and baggy. Nice red and black paint. Can't tell if this is red plastic molding and black paint or vice versa. Because it blends in so well. It's nice. And then there's the straps. Here's his kind of like boots and some buckles in the front, or studs, whatever you want to call them. His socks and his shoes. Overall, this is just a beautiful design, man. For accessories, we're taking a look at one of his alternate heads here, and he has a more focused look. And I do like this. The headband is the same flow. Hair sculpt is the same as well. Then we get an alternate screaming head, and I already hear the sound effects from this expression. And just looks so good. Again, same hair sculpt. Bandana's the same. I feel like this is swappable. They could have made a alternate bandana effect where it's like flowing, so that way it looks good when you're posing the bicycle kick. For alternate hands, he comes with a set of chopping hands, and you get a set of jazz hands. You also get a pair of relaxed hands. You get a set of these action hands, and lastly you get a pair of these stylized action hands. So overall you'll get a total of 6 pair of interchangeable hands. He also comes with this dope ass fire effect. Look at the dragon coming out of that. Oh, it's so nice. And the fangs of the dragon is nicely sculpted as well. Some nice vibrant translucency there. Get some nice yellow and red highlighting throughout, and it's on this base stand as well. So lots of playability when it comes to posing and photography displays to capture those iconic moves from the video game. Let's go over articulation for Liu Kang. So his head moves about that far up and that far down. A lot more down. And then left, right. He does pivot nicely. And of course, you can rock it around. His arms can move about that far up, higher than a straight T-pose, because you can shift the arms up and down. It's for more range. Down, you can swing them around. You got the butterfly joints that move about that far in and that far out. So great range there. You got the bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, so more than a 90-degree bend. Wrist swivel and the multi-directional wrist hinge. Double diaphragm joint, so he can move about that far forward. And he can move about that far back. He's got a waist swivel. He pivots real nice side to side, and you can rock it around. Legs can spread about that far apart, so he could do a full split. And very important for Liu Kang, he can kick up real high. And then he can kick about that far back, so you could get a full frontward split. You could rock his legs around. You get some thigh swivel right there. It's pretty good. And then you got the double jointed knees. No heel to the Liu Kang butt. His ankles move about that far up, that far down. He does have a nice ankle pivot. and you have a toe joint. I really wish he had an ankle swivel. That would have helped. And now for the most visually stunning piece of this set, we have the Fatality Dragon, and oh my, this thing is a beast. And I'm gonna pan out here, so sorry if everything's out of containment, but I just want you to see how big this thing really is. Wow, I have to move my entire tripod back. This thing is huge. Now on paper it's gonna say about approximately 12 inches, but I got him standing at his tallest with the legs being as straight as they can upwards, everything, you know, as straight as it could be. And with taking out my measuring tape, he's at 14 inches. So this thing is like a Build-A-Figure. Honestly, he came in 3 pieces. Tail, the lower legs, and the upper torso all had to be assembled. So I feel like in a way this is kind of Storm Collectibles' first Build-A-Figure in their line. I don't know why it's not labeled as Liu Kang and the Fatality Dragon. It's just labeled as Liu Kang, but this is clearly a 2-pack, because this is not an accessory. This is its own character, and it's fully articulated. And just so you see how this figure stands at its tallest next to Liu Kang right here, look at this thing, man. This is a monster we're looking at right here. So now that you got an idea of its appropriate height, let's take a closer look at the Fatality Dragon. Look at the head sculpt to this thing. This is absolutely beautiful. I love the red painted eyes. You get different shades of green throughout. Oh, this is so nice. Looking at it head on. And in case you didn't know, this is basically the Mortal Kombat logo dragon that it's based off. I like the teeth right there. You get an articulated mandible as well. And look at the way that tongue is shaped. It's nicely sculpted. It's not articulated, but the teeth are really painted nicely too. So that is so dope. The scales are nicely sculpted too, especially these spiky parts, and they're really sharp. So we'll definitely look more into articulation. I just want y'all to see the sculpt and just admire this. It's just so beautiful. And the arms, there's muscle definition on the arms as well. Look at all those scales. Just little hands. It's nicely painted. And just look at the front part right here. And I'm just blown away. And when I first saw it on display at a New York Comic-Con or a Toy Fair, I forgot which show it was, I didn't see it painted. You know, it was just a great prototype. And seeing it painted in hand, I'm just even more blown away. Because it came out absolutely incredible. And look at the Digigrade legs right there. You can see how nice the feet came out. And you get some nice dry brushing around the claws here. So nice, man. Everything is just so nice about this figure. And then you can see the tail. It's a really long tail. But I do wish it was bendable. And it's not. It's just, you know, it's all sculpted. It would have been nice if it was a bendable tail. And here's the backside to everything. It's just such a beautiful sculpt. Alright, so now let's get into articulation. So to articulate this dragon, he has about 2 points at the head neck area. So he just looks about that far up and that far down. It can move side to side. It can tilt. And as well as the articulated mandible, which I already showed you. And he does rock around. The arms move about that far up, so almost a straight T-pose. They move down. You can swing them around. You got an elbow swivel and a single jointed elbow. Wrist swivel and a multi-directional wrist hinge. Upper torso swivel right there. And it does kind of pivot. And you can rock that area around. Mid-torso swivel, same thing. It pivots even deeper, so you got more range there. Look at that, it's nice. So you got that, and then that area also rocks around. And with the lower belly, same thing, swivel. It pivots, and you can rock it around. And they all shift up and down, especially this area as well. So you'll get quite the range if you know how to work the areas. And the legs do move up. And then they move down. They do move outward a bit, just that much. You got a knee bend right here. You got a lower leg bend right there. Ankle bend. And they swivel. And you got the nice pivot right there. ankles can move up that high, down that low, and you got the toe joint. Then for his tail, it moves up that much, down. It does pivot a little bit. It swivels, and same with this area right here, swivels. It doesn't really pivot right there, and it moves, well, it can't really move up and down. That's where the ball joint would end, and there's no range there. That's why I kind of wish it was a bendable tail. But overall, I'm freaking ecstatic to have this Fatality Dragon. To kick off some comparisons, here is Liu Kang next to some other MK figures from Storm Collectibles, Scorpion and Baraka. Here he is next to one of the first in the line, Sub-Zero. Here he is next to his brother Kung Lao. Here he is next to a much larger figure, Shao Kahn. Here he is next to McFarlane Toys MK11 Liu Kang. Here is the dragon next to some of the larger oversized figures in the line, Motaro, Kintaro, and lastly, the Prince, Big Daddy Goro. And now to wrap things up, my final rating is a 10 out of 10. Total awesomeness. Liu Kang is the total package when it comes down to what to offer in an action figure. He's got the sculpt, the paint, the aesthetics, the articulation, and the accessories of multiple heads and hands. Sure, I wish he had more flaming effects like a fireball, but I can borrow that from another Storm Collectibles figure. Plus, the Dragonfire effect he comes with is incredible, so I can't knock it. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I would get Liu Kang's dragon form in an action figure. As a huge diehard fan of the MK franchise, Storm Collectibles is out here making my childhood dreams come true. The sculpting is phenomenal, then the paint on top of that sculpting ignites those details on another level. A masterpiece to me, and the articulation has way more to offer than what I expected. Yes, while limited in some areas, if you are a pro at posing and know how to work those areas, then you'll find it to be pleasantly enjoyable. I know the set runs about $179. I do wish they did have a non-deluxe versions for those who just want the figure and not the dragon, but look at what you're getting here. I can't complain as it's worth it. Storm figures run at $100, so at $80 for this fully articulated, masterfully sculpted dragon, which I think is the largest figure ever made in their 1/12 scale line if I'm not mistaken. I mean, if you're a huge Liu Kang fan as I am, or MK fan in general, how can you not want it? They are one. They just go together. But don't take it the wrong way. This is just how I see it from my perceived value. I'm sure they'll make one separately after their Flaming Dragon exclusive, which they are just trying to get the most out of that tooling, so I understand. This is the first figure I reviewed this year that I gave a 10 out of 10 perfect score. As of this moment, this is my favorite action figure of the year, hands down, and this dragon is now the centerpiece of my Mortal Kombat display. Now Storm, can you please bring me my Edenians, Katana, Melina, and Jade, because the line has yet to get a female character. Now I kick it back to you. What do you think of this Liu Kang figure? What characters would you like to see Storm release for their MK line in the coming year? You already know it's the Edenians for me. Comment below, let me know, we'll chat about it. That was my review. Please follow me on Instagram if you haven't already at xman87. Hit the notification bell so you always know when my latest videos are up. Share and subscribe if you're new. Enjoy the pics at the end of the video. See you on the next review. Peace, peace.